Are we speaking the same language as Kamala? Because I have no idea what she thinks she's talking about, but I am certain of this. We could get people, I think, to co-sign this one, Clay. Hell is the endless HR lecture where Kamala Harris is the one giving you the speech.
Let's start off the second hour with just a nice, long, healthy laugh at our Vice President, Kamala Harris, who continues to put together strings of words the likes of which we haven't seen, Buck, since Shakespeare. I don't know how it's possible for her to talk so much and say so little, but here is Kamala Harris over the weekend bringing some sanity to an insane world. Of course, all of that is a joke, but just listen to Kamala, let's all.
We know that we really are quite behind in terms of maximizing our collective understanding about how we will engage on the technology of today and what we can quickly and easily predict will be the technology over the next decades. So to maintain our position as the United States of America on this issue, it is critical that we work together to understand where we are, to recognize and have the courage to speak truth about what is obsolete, and then to partner to ensure that we are speaking the same language with the same motivation, inspired by the opportunity of it all, but then doing the work of updating how we have been talking and thinking about our exploration in space.
Are we speaking the same language as Kamala? Because I have no idea what she thinks she's talking about, but I am certain of this. We could get people, I think, to co-sign this one, Clay. Hell is the endless HR lecture where Kamala Harris is the one giving you the speech. Just go droning on and on, buzzword after buzzword. It's all corporate jargon. It's all words connected without thoughts between them. And she is remarkable at this. I've never actually come across somebody else. If SNL had created the character of the politician of Kamala, it would be the funniest thing they had done in a long time. And yet here we are. She keeps giving these speeches and saying this just utterly nonsensical stuff.
It's gobbledygook. I can't figure out which is the better analogy. Is Kamala Harris the student? And some of you have probably been in this camp before. Certainly, I bet you have, Buck. I bet I have. Sometimes you got to write a paper, and you're not really an expert in what you're writing about. And so you take what should be one sentence and turn it into a paragraph. And you take a paragraph and you turn it into a page to hit your word count. It feels like she is the vice president of word count. Like she has to hit a certain number on her speeches. That's one. The other one is, Buck, I can't decide which one is better. She's the worst boss that any of us have ever had.
Oh, yeah.
Who is way promoted above her level of expertise.
Competency.
And every time she addresses the people who work for her, she's Michael Scott, right? Like she is so bereft of the ability to do her job. I can't decide which one of those is more accurate.
You are one of the few people that I know in the media world who has pulled similar duration and crazy hours to me with radio, TV, and everything. You know, at one point I was doing a 5 a.m. wake up for a TV show, and I was finishing my radio show at 9 o'clock at night. I do not recommend this for anybody, by the way, right?
Yeah.
You were doing a morning show for years, and you're tweeting at like 1 o'clock in the morning. I don't know how you do it. You're like a machine. Have you ever had the thing where you've been on a breaking news day, you've done so much content, you've been on the air for like 6 solid hours, plus you've been on, maybe you've done Hannity show or Tucker show, plus, and then you get to like your friend's podcast that you said you do at 11 o'clock at night, and at some point you realize the brain and the words just aren't really syncing up.
Yeah.
I've been there a couple times. That's what it reminds. When Kamala starts speaking, it sounds to me like how I sound when I'm about to smack my face on the table from exhaustion.
The 5 a.m., I did 5 a.m. radio, Central Time, because I live here in Nashville. And I would get up at, 4:15, 4:30 for years. And a lot of times I had to do that, Buck, after Monday Night Football ends or after it's a late night sporting event that's going to be your lead. And the thing I remember the most about it is just sometimes your brain doesn't click like you expect your brain to click. If that makes sense. Like we rely on live radio, live television, being at least somewhat good at expressing ourselves on a day-to-day basis and making connections and all those things. And sometimes you can like feel the hamster running in the wheel and the hamster's just really tired. So that's the analogy that sometimes you get to by the end. The problem is Kamala's always that way. And if you're always that way, at some point, you know, to use a sports reference, you are what your record says you are. And her record is bad. And again, those two analogies, student who hasn't done enough research to be able to write a paper or boss who's been promoted way over her pay grade, I can't figure out which one's more perfect.
We have fun with this, obviously, because it is funny, but it also does play into the much bigger conversation about what the dynamics will be here with the Biden administration. A big point of conversation. This is, you know, I'm on vacation at the beach. I ended up talking politics all weekend. I didn't mean to, but that's what happened. Big point of conversation for everybody is who believes that Biden is, and everyone's calling it the weekend at Bernie's situation, by the way. Who believes
that's
they're
caught
going
on now?
They're
Yes.
going to push Biden into a second term. The problem they have is not only whether or not they should. By the way, I believe they are going to just weekend at Bernie's it. I think they're going to push Biden.
You think they're going weekend at Bernie's too?
I think that Democrats.
That's the funniest thing is they made a second movie that's
which is
basically
even worse.
what
The
this
first movie's
presidency
not
is.
even really watchable, folks. I'll cut to the chase on that one. The second one, I can't even imagine. I think they would wheel Biden out completely, you know, with a blanket across his knees and completely unable to really even finish a sentence. I think, unfortunately, they're that reckless that they would do that and they wouldn't care about it, and they think that they could probably win with that. But the other part of this is you have the first female black vice president in the history of the country. How do the Democrats go around her? Let's be honest. How do they
It'll be
deny
racist and
her the
sexist.
promotion that is implied by this role without looking like they're skipping the first black female vice president for promotion, if you know what I mean? That's a tough
Yeah.
one.
That's the problem. When you promote someone and you keep promoting them, then at some point by diversity and exclusion rules, if you don't continue to promote them, it's racist and sexist not to do so. And I'm sure you saw, Buck, during your vacation, the other thing that we had fun with on Friday, Elizabeth Warren said everybody came up to her and told her if she had a penis, they would have voted for her for president. You saw that quote, right?
No, I was actually
miss
off.
that?
I was
Oh,
off
yeah.
the radar for that one, and I'm
you
sad
missed
that
this
I missed
quote.
that fun.
It's not. I don't think it was an audio quote.
Did
It was
she
a
use the
Politico
P
story.
word?
Yeah.
Wow.
She said, I think I still have it saved. Let me see if I still have it saved on my phone because I saw it. Yeah. On a plane to New Hampshire the night of the Iowa caucuses, Elizabeth Warren said, everyone comes up to me and says, I would vote for you if you had a penis. I would submit that has never happened. First of all, she's calling every
That's
Democrat sexist, right?
Yeah.
But I would submit to you that no one has ever gone up to Elizabeth Warren and said, if you had a penis, I would
I don't
vote
even
for you.
think
It's such an
right-wing
uncomfortable
trolls
phrase.
to mess with her would have come
Yes.
up with going up to her and saying that to her face. It's hilarious that she thinks that she can get away. But look, this is a woman who, I will remind everybody, not only was a fake Native American for decades of her adult life, Clay, she
Got jobs based on it, too. She didn't
Of
just,
course.
she was like claiming to be a minority.
Look, she rode the racial entitlement state all the way to the top of the legal professorial profession. But beyond that, she not only put a recipe in Pow Wow Chow, she
Yes.
stole the recipe from a Julia Child cookbook, pretended it was hers. She plagiarized Pow Wow Chow recipe, Clay. Think about this, my friend.
How about the fact that there was a book called Pow Wow Chow? I mean, this like, we can't even call a team of Cleveland Indians now, and the Atlanta Braves and the Kansas City Chiefs, people are upset about. Pow Wow Chow back in the day was like, oh, this book's going to be a bestseller.
And I mean, the
We
first
gotta
time
get-
Elizabeth Warren gets accused of this, she goes on the warpath. And it took months before we were going to be able to smoke a peace pipe over this one.
I've got some reservations about her story.